Minister put in place for those who actively and honestly seek help and prayerful support, and who are seeking guidance in churches and through Christian groups, as well as through faith-based groups. So it was important to have people have an opportunity. I know the Minister will be committed to that. I'll be very pleased to have her answer. Thank you.
I thank him for his question, and I do look forward to discussing this matter further with him when we have published our draft bill. But let me be very clear, Mr. Speaker. What we're talking about here is criminalising abuse that should happen to nobody, anywhere, in any situation or any setting.
Sue Williams. Question number 5, please, Mr. Speaker.
With permission, Mr. Speaker, I will answer questions 5 and 10 together. Tackling child poverty is a moral mission for this Labour government. Background should not determine what you go on to achieve in life, but we know that inequality and poverty hold back too many of our children. We're improving life chances for every child, from scrapping the 2-child limit, rolling out free childcare, Best Start family hubs, free breakfast clubs and expanding free school meals. And our child poverty strategy will deliver the largest reduction in child poverty in a single parliament. This is the difference a Labour government is making.
David Williams. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In Stoke-on-Trent and Kidsgrove, literacy levels of our children and young people fall behind the England average, and that can severely impact a young person's future earnings. Our libraries play a key role, yet reform-led Staffordshire County Council has ordered them to remove pride displays. Shameful. Does the Secretary of State agree that libraries should be inclusive and welcoming to all, and children and young people should never be placed at the centre of such divisive culture wars?
Mr. Speaker, I completely agree with my honourable friend. The joy of reading should be open to every child, and that is really important in this National Year of Reading. Local libraries are special places, and reform should be investing in our libraries so that children can access them, not shutting down displays that make all families feel welcome. But, Mr. Speaker, this is sadly characteristic of a party who, in my own local area, let back in a councillor who said that Nigerians should be melted down to fill in potholes. Not fit for power at any level.
Douglas McAllister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We know that the attainment gap holds back children who grow up in poverty, and that reached its highest levels under the Tories. And in Scotland, the SNP have failed to close the gap. Does the Minister agree with me that it's shameful, therefore, that the Tories' only policies for children are bringing back the 2-child limit, plunging hundreds of thousands back into poverty, and bringing back tax breaks for private schools?
Mr. Speaker, I am proud of the record of the last Labour government in tackling child poverty, but this Labour government is going even further. We will lift the largest number of children out of poverty in a single parliament ever, in sharp contrast to the party opposite, who would plunge 500,000 children back into poverty.
We come to topicals. Andrew George.
Question 1, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, the Equality Act 2010 is a monumental achievement passed by the last Labour government. It protects everyone from discrimination and harassment, and the public sector equality duty makes our services fairer for everyone. And we're bolstering this by commencing the socio-economic duty. Mr. Speaker, the Equality Act is our quiet guardian, the law that stops bosses overlooking pregnant qualified workers for promotion. It means that shops and transport must adapt for wheelchair users, making their services accessible. And to those who want to dismantle those protections, I say, we will not let them turn back the clock. We stand by these rights. We will strengthen them.
Andrew George.
Mr. Speaker, I've given the ministers advance notice of this question. Can ministers do more to better coordinate support across government for women and child victims? My constituent Caroline Eshe, abuser, was granted a lenient sentence because the abuse occurred before 2005, and my constituent Tina Nash, who was beaten, assaulted and blinded, now feels insufficiently protected and supported because from either the parole board or the victim contact scheme. Can government ministers please do more to support them?
I'm grateful to the honourable gentleman who raises two incredibly powerful and distressing cases. I want to share with him my sympathy for those affected, for all that they have been through, for the harm that they suffered. And I'd be more than happy to discuss it further with him, or to make sure a minister meets with him to hear his constituents' views.
Jane Kirkham.
Thank
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The EHRC guidelines were to provide clarity. However, washing facilities adaptations will be difficult and costly for businesses, and providers like guides risk potentially being sued for being inclusive. Small, vulnerable minorities do need our protection. How will the Secretary of State monitor the impact of the guidance on trans and disabled people to ensure they're not left without services and they're not scared to go out?
I thank my honourable friend for this important question, and I would just say to her the code is clear that nobody should be left without the services that they need, and the EHRC is clear that they will be monitoring the impact of the code.
Secretary of State Claire Coutinho.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The government's Islamophobia definition is already being weaponised to shut down free speech, just as I warned it would. South Wales Police tried to use it to effectively criminalise people for criticising Islam, something that ministers promised us time and again would not happen. Does the Secretary of State understand how divisive this is? And if so, will she finally withdraw this dangerous definition?
Mr. Speaker, South Wales Police have paused their plans. It is right that they have done so. There are no blasphemy laws in this country. But it is right that we take action against hatred, prejudice and racism wherever we find it. And we have seen shocking examples of where Muslims in our country have been targeted on the basis of their faith and because of who they are. And we need look no further than the Shadow Justice Secretary, who engaged in appalling racism towards Muslims in our country and rather shamefully was not sacked by the Leader of the Opposition for those comments.
Claire Coutinho.
Mr. Speaker, asking officers to record examples of illegitimate criticism of Islam is nothing short of an assault on free speech. So let me try another issue. Last night, Labour MPs voted to give children as young as 11 powerful puberty-blocking drugs that could leave them infertile for the rest of their lives. She is the Cabinet Minister for Children. She knows that children in the care system are overrepresented in this group. This cannot sit right with her. So will she do the right thing and tell the Health Secretary to stop the puberty-blocking trial?
Mr. Speaker, when Dr. Hilary Cass published her review, we endorsed all of those recommendations, as did the party opposite. And an important part of what Dr. Cass set out was that it is essential that healthcare is available to children and young people who are experiencing gender dysphoria or incongruence, but that it must be safe, evidence-based and clinically appropriate. We have always been clear about the red lines regarding the MHRA's trial and the prescription of puberty blockers, and the safety and well-being of children must be at the forefront of everything that we do. But the review by Dr. Cass did conclude that whilst not enough was known about the safety of puberty-suppressing hormones, it was necessary to take forward a trial.
We now come to questions to the Prime Minister. Clive Jones.
Question number 1, please, Mr. Speaker.
Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I start by saying my thoughts are with all those injured in the rail collision last Friday. I was deeply saddened to learn of the death of the driver of the Corby to St Pancras train. His family have requested privacy, and we should all respect that. I send my deepest sympathies to them at this awful time. My thoughts are also with those injured in the appalling attack in Edinburgh, which appears to be motivated by anti-Muslim hatred. Mr. Speaker, let's be clear, in this country, an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. We will not stand for it, and the perpetrator will face the full force of the law. Let me commend our emergency services who responded to both incidents with outstanding bravery and professionalism in very difficult circumstances. Mr. Speaker, one of the greatest privileges of leading this country is meeting our armed forces, celebrating their work and marking Armed Forces Week, and I want to thank them all for their dedication, their courage and sacrifice to protect our way of life. Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. I shall have further such meetings later today. Not today.
Clive Jones.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and can I associate myself with the Prime Minister's remarks? Prime Minister, the National Cancer Plan is something that your government can be really proud of. Cancer patients in Wokingham and across the country cannot afford for it not to be implemented or regularly updated. Will the Prime Minister leave a lasting legacy and support my Cancer Private Members Bill to ensure that future governments remain accountable for delivering its targets and ambitions?
Well, can I first recognise his personal experience and pay tribute to his campaign? I'm incredibly proud of the National Cancer Plan, which sets out how we're ending the postcode lottery with more cancer specialists, paying the travel costs of children travelling for cancer care, and investing in technology to drive research into rare cancers. Thanks to our record investment in the NHS, we've the shortest waits for cancer diagnosis on record. He'll be pleased to know that in his constituency, waiting lists in his local care board are down by 40,000. That's thanks to a Labour government and Labour decisions.
Lee Barham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Max Hall is 14 years old. He should be worrying about school, football, friends and what he wants to be when he grows up. Instead, he is living with a high-grade brain tumour and there is no cure available to him. His parents, Jackie and Stephen, want to know, why are children still being diagnosed with brain tumours and told there's no treatment options available? Why has brain tumour research remained so underfunded when brain tumours kill more children and adults under 40 than any other cancer? And why are families like them left to search for hope themselves? This Prime Minister has done so much to strengthen our NHS. So does he agree with me that we need to move at pace and do much more to offer hope to Max and his family and families like his facing this unequally devastating disease?
Can I just say my thoughts, and I'm sure the thoughts of the whole House, are with Max and his family in what must be the most awful of circumstances. Through our Cancer Trials Accelerator programme, we'll make it easier to launch innovative new clinical trials and find new treatment. And for people like Max, that will mean make young people's cancer a research priority, make clinical trials more accessible, and pay for his travel costs for care. I hope that comes as some comfort, but as a parent, I can't imagine what his family are going through, given the circumstances that he faces. And I know that a minister would be happy to meet Max and his family.
Leader of the Opposition, Kemi Bednall.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I associate this side of the House with the Prime Minister's remarks on the horrific train crash, the attacks in Edinburgh, and, of course, Armed Forces Week? I want to start by congratulating the Prime Minister. He's the other party leader who won a by-election last week. Although I think I'm much happier with my new MP than he is with his. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Speaker, 2 weeks ago, the Prime Minister told the House that the government was funding defence and everything was under control. The very next day, the Defence Secretary resigned, saying the Prime Minister was unable and the Treasury unwilling to fund the defence of our country. What changed?
Well, Mr. Speaker, she references the by-election. I'm very pleased with our new Member of Parliament. Can I also say to her, in Gorton and Denton, the Tories got 1.9% of the vote. Can I congratulate her, because in Makerfield, they got 2.2% of the vote. Just edging past Count Binface. She says they're winning everywhere. At that rate, it'll take them 500 years to get back into power. Mr. Speaker, meanwhile, back on these benches, we've delivered the biggest sustained boost to defence spending since the 1980s. That's £270 billion over this Parliament. That, Mr. Speaker, is a record. The Defence Investment Plan will take that even higher. That's about facing the future. We'll finalise the plan with the Defence Secretary and we'll have it published before the NATO summit.
Mr. Speaker, I think the Prime Minister forgot to mention that in Aberdeen South we got 50%. And he says that he's funding defence. The truth is, he wouldn't be in this mess if his Chancellor had found money for the Defence Investment Plan. The Prime Minister gave her the second most important job in Britain. She was the first female Chancellor. She lives next door to him, but wouldn't even come out to stand by him during his resignation speech. She was too busy getting ready for a selfie with the new leader. Does the Prime Minister feel let down by his Chancellor?
This is the Chancellor who ended austerity inflicted on our country for 14 long years. This is the Chancellor who got the economy growing, Mr. Speaker. She doesn't normally want to talk about the economy. That's because in the first quarter of this year, the UK had the fastest growing economy in the G7. Our growth was upgraded by the IMF and the OECD. Last week, unemployment was down. Inflation was better. That is because with this chance, we have the right economic plan and we can weather the global storms in the war that she wanted to jump into.
Mr. Speaker, they're cheering so loudly. If it's all going so fine, why is he resigning? The fact is, she did let him down. She's the one who snatched the winter fuel payments. She's the one who announced a disastrous budget that killed economic growth. And because of her, once again, a Labour Prime Minister is leaving office with unemployment higher than when he came in. But the Chancellor isn't the only person who let him down. The Energy Secretary is putting up bills and killing jobs. He's not here, is he? He was a failed Labour leader, rejected by the electorate, brought back from the wilderness by this man, and when the going got tough, he jumped into bed with the Mayor of Manchester. It's not the first time he's betrayed someone close to him, is it? But does the Prime Minister think that this treachery should be rewarded by being appointed Chancellor?
Mr. Speaker, the Chancellor and I picked up our party 6 years ago from the worst defeat since 1935. We turned it around and we made it face the country. And we won a landslide general election, giving them the biggest drubbing in their history. To this Chancellor, we've delivered the fastest fall in NHS waiting list for 17 years. We've the money for new rights for renters and working people, and we're lifting 500,000 children out of poverty. Mr. Speaker, the test for every Prime Minister is handing over the country in better shape than you found it. I know I can do that, which is more than can be said for her predecessor, her predecessor's predecessor, and her predecessor's predecessor's predecessor.
Mr. Speaker, once again I have to ask, if it's all so fantastic, why is he resigning? And I think it is very generous of the Prime Minister to stick by his ministers because they didn't stick by him. He can say what he likes, but the people of Aberdeen gave their verdict. They gave their verdict on his Energy Secretary by voting Conservative. But to be fair, Mr. Speaker, to be fair, they're not all traitors and deserters. Some of his cabinet have been loyal and incompetent. Hands up if you think the Education Secretary is doing a good job. Even she doesn't think she's doing a good job, Mr. Speaker. Even she doesn't think she's doing a good job. Someone did. Just for those who raised their hands, the two people who raised their hands, yesterday a poll found that 0% of teachers think the Education Secretary is doing a good job. 0%. She taxed private schools to pay for more teachers, but the number of teachers has gone down. Yeah. It turns out appointing a spiteful class warrior as Education Secretary was a disaster. Yeah. Does the Prime Minister agree that he has been let down by her incompetence?
Prime Minister. The Education Secretary grew up in poverty. She knows exactly what it means to grow up in poverty. She was once reluctant to tell her story. I know her story. It's an incredible story of social mobility and success. I I'm so proud that she is sitting there, and so should everybody in this country who cares about social mobility. She knows that for poor children, education is absolutely vital, and that is why it drives every single priority and value that she has. I would have thought the party opposite would recognise and understand some of that, but they've fallen so low they don't.
Mr. Speaker, the fact is that if she knew so much about poor children, she wouldn't have given them fewer teachers. Teacher numbers have gone down. Teacher numbers have gone down. It's amazing. I've never seen this much excitement on the Labour benches. Yes, cheering so loudly while there are 400 knives stuck in his back. Shame on them. Shame on them. They don't like it up them, but they know that what I'm saying is true. And Mr. Speaker, there were times when the Prime Minister tried to do the right thing. He did try to cut welfare. And who stopped him? Those MPs behind him. In the words of the Welfare Secretary, his MPs only want to know who they can tax to fund more benefits. They are not Labour MPs, they are welfare MPs. Does the Prime Minister feel betrayed by the people he got into Parliament?
Sorry, Prime Minister. Can I just say, let us think about the language we're using. I think that'll be the first to leave, please. Can I just say, think about the language we're using, because when we leave this chamber, don't be surprised when constituents feel they can use the same language against each other. Let us show a little bit more decorum and respect to each other. Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was trying to do all of this with as much good grace as I could, but I shall certainly miss these exchanges. I'm very proud of every one of our MPs who, with a landslide Labour victory, coming from all different backgrounds, from all different places across the country. We inflicted the biggest loss on the Tory party opposite in the history of their party. We picked up our party, we turned it around. We had to address what went wrong. We turned it around. We won a landslide victory. She won't even address or even talk about their failure after 14 long years.
Can we bend or not?
Mr. Speaker, he is the one who is resigning because of his MPs. There's no point trying to distract from it. And let's be honest, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has made many mistakes, otherwise he wouldn't be going. But he has also been let down. I'm only saying what his staff have been briefing. He has been let down by an energy secretary who is killing industry, let down by a chancellor who is killing jobs, let down by backbenchers who don't understand that government is about tough choices. He U-turned again and again and again to appease them, and now they've abandoned him. And what for? A pair of eyelashes and a black T-shirt. Isn't the truth that whoever is in charge, Mr. Speaker, isn't the truth that whoever is in charge, the real problem is the Labour Party?
Mr. Speaker, 2 years ago I walked into Number 10 and found a broken economy, broken public services and broken trust in politics. Because of our decisions, my decision, the country is moving in the right direction, a stronger and a fairer Britain, ending austerity, investing in our public services, the fastest fall in NHS waiting lists for 17 years, more rights for workers, more rights for renters, standing with Ukraine, Britain's reputation restored and 500,000 children being lifted out of poverty. Change promised by a Labour government, fought for by a Labour government, change delivered by a Labour government.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My Hendon constituency is proud to sit at the heart of the UK's largest Jewish community in the London Borough of Barnet. But today, many of my constituents, many of that community, are living in fear. In northwest London, in recent months, we have seen Jewish charities firebombed, synagogues attacked, Jewish people stabbed in the street, and all that against the backdrop of a daily drumbeat of abuse and intimidation. I know everyone on these benches is determined to defeat this despicable hatred, and I welcome the actions the government is taking to root out the poison of our anti-Semitism. Can the Prime Minister tell this House what the government is doing, not only to protect the Jewish community in Hendon and Barnet, but to make sure we can live full and proud Jewish lives free from fear?
Well, I thank him for his question. Anti-Semitism is a poison, and that is why I drove it out of the Labour Party. In government, we're acting to drive it out of society. New powers to ban repeated protests, new plans to root anti-Semitism out of our schools, universities and the health service, and new prescription-like powers to clamp down on malign state activity which incites hatred and violence. And we will take further steps. I'm proud to lead this tolerant, decent country and will always fight for the security, safety and freedom of British Jews.
Sir Ed Davey, Leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I associate myself and my party with the Prime Minister's remarks about the horrifying train crash in Bedford and the appalling attacks near a mosque in Edinburgh? Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families. And can I mention, Mr. Speaker, today's review of Nottingham's maternity services, which is truly shocking. I hope the government will rise to this moment and implement Donna Ockenden recommendations in full without delay. Mr. Speaker, can I also recognise how difficult it was for the Prime Minister to make the statement he did on Monday? It's an important reminder as we debate issues robustly in this House that we are all human, and it's something that everyone should remember. Mr. Speaker, as we all know how hard it is